Hey guys, welcome back to the DF Goblin build. So, obviously you can tell I had a new rider in the car, which was a heck of a lot of fun. She really enjoyed it. She's 3, and in Iowa, it's totally legal. So, gonna take my 3-year-old daughter out in a ride in the Goblin, and she absolutely loved it. Anyways, what I am currently working on, I know a couple videos ago, everyone saw me tearing down a 2.2 liter Ecotech. Well, now I have my rods. I got some Wiseco forged, it's the 10-to-1 compression pistons, which look absolutely beautiful. I assume that is the weight of each piston. Looks really nice. Then got my book ready to do this rebuild. Got my block back from the machine shop, and the block looks great. So he didn't end up having to deck the head at all. It was totally flat. I've checked it on my own as well, and I can't get any whatever you call them, those gauges through the levels. So he did say one of the bores, I believe it was the 4th one, that was a little tapered at the bottom, but shouldn't cause issue. Otherwise, everything looks good. He cleaned it up real well for me. And then the girdle, no issues there. I did off camera do a plasti gauge check of all the bearing clearances for the crankshaft. I have not done the rod clearances, but that'll be a future thing. And then I got my head cleaned. Again, he didn't have to do anything to the head. It was a-okay. Everything was flat. No issues there. So what this video is going to show, I am going to do a time lapse of putting these beautiful parts in from Eagle and Wiseco. Man, looks great. So anyways, follow along, and hopefully this video ends up suiting you well. Thanks. Let's get working on this new motor that's going to go in the DF Goblin. I got this back from the machine shop. They cleaned it, made sure the deck was flat, made sure the bores were good and undamaged. I did not have any damage. He didn't have to deck the head, and he also didn't have to do anything with the block or the head, sorry. Anyways, the head looks good, the block looks good, the crank is good. I have some Wiseco forged pistons. It's a 10-to-1 compression, and I also have some Eagle rods coming along with some obviously new rod bearings, new crank bearings, entire cloys kit, new gaskets, etc. So first I want to make sure that the head and the deck are truly flat, which I have this lovely tool here, which I will measure. And I'm gonna choose like the smallest one that I have on here, and that's a 0.003. I'm not sure what the specs call for. I just want to make sure that we're good here. Good. Good. All right. Angle it across. Do the same thing. Good. All right. And the other way. And this level, I believe, is good for 1/100th over the course of 2 feet. I'm not 100% sure, but this looks good and level. So next, I will start working on the piston rings. So your Wiseco pistons did come with the lovely rings and that beautiful piston there. So anyways, I'm going to measure each wrist pin, piston, and rod and try and get all of them as close as possible as I can, and label each and every one of them to its location in the engine. So I ended up weighing out each individual part. Wiseco labels the pistons with the correct weight in grams, and then I weighed out each eagle rod as well as each wrist pin. All the wrist pins were identical. Pretty much all the Wiseco were identical as well. You know, one piston was off by 2 grams, so I think it's kind of a waste of time. But I ended up getting my rotating mass down to you can't read that, 1854 for the one side of the rotating, and then 1853. So 1 and 4 is 1854, 2 and 3 is 1853. So I think that's more balanced than you're going to get out of a stock engine. So the goal is 7,500 RPM when everything's all said and done. Okay, so the easiest way I found to get these damn circlips in, and I think it's absolutely miserable. My thumbs are being absolutely destroyed. So I saw this online. I was looking around quite a bit to try and find something to fix it. So I took the piston, I put in your wrist pin, and then the circlip, I put the opened end facing downwards. I hold that wrist pin there. I take a screwdriver. I know, I'm gonna mar up the piston, blah, 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 blah. I've already messed it up numerous times. And I just get it started, kind of past that lip. You gotta push real freaking hard. Come on. Bam. I mean, I did kind of scuff up the side a little bit, but it's not going to be affected by anything. So yeah, that was the easiest way to do it. You just slide it out, put your rod on, and go from there. So the Eagle rods and the Wiseco pistons, I got the wrist pin in and the clips in. The clips were a real pain. And then I moved on to determining my piston ring end gap. So with Wiseco, I received this, and what I'm doing is I'm doing a medium boost, 15 to 30 pounds. Right now it's going to be supercharged with the M62, so I won't be hitting those numbers, but I plan on turbocharging it here in the future. So for the medium boost of 15 to 30 pounds, for your top oil ring, you take your multiplier in inches of the bore, so it's 3.375 inches times 0.0070, and that comes out to 0.023, and then for the second oil ring it's 0.024. So I'll take this one, come over here. So cylinder one is the one that I have here with me. It has, focus, those numbers there. I just determined that was up. From looking at what they show online, that's what it appears to be as well. So we'll get it kind of squared out there, and then we will take our feeler gauges. So on this one is a 0.03, and that one would be a little big for it, but you get the gist. But 0.04 is where this one actually slides in at. So yeah, so then I just took each individual piston that is weighed along with the rod, the wrist pin, made sure everything was balanced there, got all of my pistons filed down, or the piston ring end gaps filed down, and everything's looking good there. So next we are going to put them in the engine. I'm not going to show all 4 pistons. I'm just going to do piston 4 here. I want to go through and kind of show you where the ring gaps should go. So first off, you want to take and get your oil ring, and you want the oil ring to be sitting with the points up, and that is going to, according to this sheet here, which came with the Wiseco pistons, that gap is going to be on the front part of the engine. So just like that, and you want those pointing up. I don't know if you can see that. You want those pointing up. There's forward, here's the front. Next, you are going to do the lower ring, oil control ring, and according to the paperwork, that one is going to be in the top, kind of like right corner. So I just kind of wrap it in here and then just slide it down and around. It's easier if you have the pliers. I don't. I wasn't going to spend money on them. Just don't really have a good use for them other than this one time. So next we will do, this is a little dirty. Dirtier than I thought. Next we'll do the top oil control ring, and that'll go when you're looking at it from the front side with the front of the engine to the left. When you're looking at it like this, it's going to go gap up in this top corner here. So we'll again start that, kind of wrap it around like so. Okay, so the oil gaps are done. Next is the darker colored one, and you can tell it's like kind of contoured on the bottom side, and those that is the second ring. So what I'm going to do is the second compression ring is facing towards the front here, just like that. So this one goes in its groove again, and we'll just kind of wrap it down and around. You just got to be gentle. I mean, you don't want to go yanking on these things and damaging the rings, so just be gentle with it. Next is your last ring. The numbers again are still up, and that's going to be facing the opposite side that the second oil control ring is. So this will be facing right at the top of the piston. That'll maintain most of your compression, and boom. So that is how you install the Wiseco piston rings. So after checking, I didn't quite realize that I should have checked the rod bearing clearances while the crank was out, which I did. I ended up taking it all apart again, making sure everything's okay, everything's good to go. It is kind of the higher end, but it's still within spec. It was 0.0015 to between .0015 and .002. So close enough, kind of on the higher end, but hopefully I don't have any issues there. So I have these two rods on again, and just lubing up kind of the remainder of the bearings. I did lube the bottom side, and I plan on lubing the case as well, just so that way it's less of a mess, not in my area here. So I'm gonna pull up the rest of these rod bearings, get those connected. I've got cylinders 1 here. It's kind of dirty. What that's about. Let's clean that back off. Okay. Problem is trying to keep all this clean. Listen, I'm not a mechanic. I would not follow my instructions. Like I said, I have close to $2,000 in this motor, and I'm winging it. So, like I said, I'm not a mechanic. So, don't do what I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing it right, maybe I'm not. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments if I'm messing something up, right? So, anyway, just kind of using this ultra slick lube here from Permatex, just to make sure we are nice and covered. So if you guys don't know, this engine is actually out of another 07 Cobalt LS, which is the same donor engine that my Cobalt is here. So I shouldn't have any issues. I know it sounds like there's some crank sensor issues between numerous years. Yes, you can have a 2.2, but that 2.2 may not be the same from 06, 07, 08. So the joy is that I'm hoping I don't have any crank sensor issues because this is an 07. So off camera, I did end up labeling the direction and what cylinder that each individual caps go to. You know, they are made together. They need to go together. I know anybody that has watched any videos has probably heard that. And this is just to tighten it down. I'm not. Oh, that's good. No need to torque it. We're golden. So I'm just kidding. I will torque it. Don't go screaming in the comments quite yet. But yeah, we'll see. This is kind of a new thing for me. The DF Goblin was my first real big project. You know, I've done some brakes and some other small stuff like that in the past, but I'd never done anything quite this extravagant. You know, taking apart an engine and putting it together, and then removing all the stuff out of the DF Goblin and getting it supercharged. You know, just way out of my comfort zone, and I'm hoping that I did this correctly, because if not, I'm screwed. Anyway, I will keep letting it roll. I'm probably going to time lapse this the remainder of the time of what else is left. So if you guys have any comments, concerns, questions, feel free to let me know. I'll probably come back towards the end of the video and just kind of show you and walk through and talk about parts and cost and so forth. So stay tuned, and I will I'll time lapse some stuff here for you.
Okay, let's try this again.